Did you see the Omegon? I watched his original one. Did he make another one? Omeg. I don't know how to spell it. That's not it. Oh, he did make another one. Oh, it's 52 minutes long. I can't watch that right now.
So now that I've gotten the much anticipated Amberlynn Reid video 2 out of the way, and that the Logan Paul KSI fight is over, which led to many armchair boxing specialists to declare that MMA is better because blah blah reasons, all the while just confirming my suspicion that people that tweet those bullshit reasons only do it because they have ADD, I thought we'd move on to something more news-related. Not that the KSI Logan Paul fight is not news, I just don't want to talk about it. I do though want to talk about this guy. Looks harmless, doesn't he? Hard to believe though this incel is a man that once said, if a child is old enough to talk, it's old enough to have sex. Which even had his own lawyer say that he is the Ron Seal of paedophiles. And for those that don't know what Ron Seal is, Ron Seal has a motto. It does exactly what it says on the tin. On his tin, it just says children between the ages of 12 and 14. So this man he's upset at the moment because he lost an appeal, and you've got to feel for him because he's not allowed to travel abroad, to go to countries where the age of consent is lower, so that he can satisfy his need to get with children between the ages of 12 and 14. Now I know what some of you are going to say. Surely this man should be allowed to move. And others are going to say, can we remove his testicles now? To address the first people, and they are few in number. I'm happy this man is stuck in this country. I'm happy this man is on blast. If he has a job, everyone knows he can't be trusted around children. If he doesn't have a job, imagine my shock. A man like this needs to be kept somewhere far away from any children. And I do have a question. This is important before I address the second group. If his age range is 12 to 14 and he gets with someone that is 12, does he dump them when they turn 15? Or does he stick it out? As in the relationship, does he stay with them? You know what? It's not a relationship, it's grooming. Now to address the second group, I am firmly on your side. He should have his genitals removed. This man is not even ashamed of his position. Now just to give a bit more context here, this man, Mr. Leonard, from Haslingden, Lancashire, when he lost his appeal, is now in the position where he can only be granted permission to travel abroad if he has written permission from a police chief constable. So somehow this man has to convince a police chief that he can be trusted to go abroad and that he won't in any way touch a child between the ages of 12 and 14 because that's his age range. He won't be tempted by younger children. We can trust him because he's honest enough to tell us this, right? No, we can't. In 2013, this man was jailed for 32 months for downloading 251, very specific, indecent images of children and then subsequently sharing them on the internet. What did he do, share them by Twitter? I can't imagine this man has many followers. Maybe that one guy from last year, whose name I can't remember, but I think there's a 10-year age gap between their supposed preferences. Now I personally believe this man should have gone away for a lot longer. We can take other cases in the United Kingdom where people have been locked up for lengthier periods of time for the same crime. Gary Glitter is a perfect example, and I think he's again in prison because he again did something he should not have done with children. Or was it old cases that he hadn't been charged for but was still within the statute of limitations? Doesn't matter. Now he has been given, Mr. Leonard that is, a sexual offences prevention order to monitor his internet use. However, the Lancashire police, it was now no longer sufficient to manage his risk. Well, in that case, if he can't be trusted, if he's gotten to the point where you have to intervene, then stick him in a prison cell. If it's gotten to the point where he can't be trusted on the internet, then you have to ban him or put him away. Those are the two options realistically, right? Now, for those that don't know what a sexual offences prevention order is, it is a type of civil order which essentially prohibits someone from having contact with another person, or groups of people, depending on certain mitigating factors. They were introduced to the current manifestation by Section 104 of the Sexual Offences Act. Prior to this, there had been similar orders available to the courts under Section 5 of the Sexual Offenders Act of 1997. I thought I'd throw this in there because it seemed quite important. this man is not having his freedom of expression or anything like that prohibited. He is being stopped from trying to look at children in an inappropriate way, and I'm okay with this. I've already stated what I think the options are anyway. Yesterday, the police were granted a sexual harm prevention order by magistrates. The SHPO includes additional measures preventing benefit claimant, yep, he's unemployed, from having any unsupervised contact with a child under 16, to which Mr. Leonard has claimed that the new order was completely disproportionate and made an appeal to the Burnley Crown Court to have it revoked. Good luck with that. Detective Constable Andrew Ashworth told the hearing that Leonard is one of the most dangerous offenders I have ever met, and he posed an exceptional risk. It's quite odd. You look at this man and you think, yeah, he's an incel for life. And he is realistically. And it makes me wonder if that's why he's decided children are his thing. But I'm far too tired to give that any thought past that initial remark. Mr. Ashworth also said, Mr. Leonard is unique. In the 10 years performing this role, I have never met a sexual offender who quite openly acknowledges his paedophilic tendencies. He is exceptional and has been risked as exceptional. He is very vocal and adamant about this persecution, and he likens it to the persecution of homosexuals 40 years ago. There is a difference between homosexuality and being a paedophile. You see, to be a homosexual, you find someone of the same sex attractive and you are of consenting age. This is key here, to have sex. Your preference involves you manipulating someone younger into believing that what they want is you either in them or them in you. You groom them, manipulate them. The reason age of consent exists is that somebody can make an informed decision, and this brings up a whole debate about what the age should be. I'm not going to get into that debate. I still find it fascinating that we have age of consent for sex at 16, but people vote in politics at 18 and they learn nothing about politics. I know that's a false equivalence, I really do get it, I just think it's fascinating to look at. Mr. Leonard has expressed his desire to leave the country because he believes the police, judiciary and government in this country are persecuting paedophiles. You're not being persecuted. Once you cross that line, you become a sex offender. You, Mr. Leonard, are a sex offender and therefore are a risk to any country, and we as a nation should not allow you to leave this country knowing you are a risk. It is a rare privilege to be able to travel abroad, and it should be treated as such. Maybe not rare, but a privilege to go to another country and enjoy their culture. And I don't mean enjoy their culture where you then abuse children, which is what it is. DC Ashworth has added that Mr. Leonard has accepted that his mother, who he has a very close connection with, is a factor in holding him back as to his sexual lifestyle. He has indicated that when she dies, he will go abroad to seek children. Well, then we better ban you from going to Vietnam then. I think that's one of Gary Glitter's favoured places. Now, since 2013, there has been no change in Mr. Leonard's conduct since the SOPO was introduced. The court back then could have in fact introduced an SHPO, but they didn't. And just to make sure this ends on a slightly higher note, his appeal has been rejected. And rightly so. How is this man allowed to do what he does? If I remember correctly, he also compared his suffering to that of the Holocaust, which baffled me. And I spent all morning thinking about this. How can you compare the persecution of the Jews in the Second World War, where millions died unjustly, to a man that gets a hard-on when he thinks about children, or is around children, or wants to do stuff with children with his hard-on? Having your rights taken away on one hand, and being executed unjustly. You get to live free as long as you don't act on that sexual desire. Somehow in your mind, Mr. Leonard, these are the same thing. I have yet to fathom how this is the case. But if you are willing to tell me, please do. In fact, consider this an open invite. If you see this video and you would like to talk to me about your sexual desire, and explain to me and try and reason it, rationalize it, do it. Open invitation. I would very much like to explain to you why the 20-year-old version of me, who thinks your genitals should be placed in a glass container, with you in a tiny cell with nothing but a bed and no mattress, just a block, a toilet, and a small table, no windows, while you get to watch your genitals rot. Maybe we'll get someone to do some taxidermy on it, so that you can just look at them like a trophy. It'll be quite small, don't worry, so it won't take up much space in your 7x8 cell. You'll have plenty of space then to scratch the number of days you're in there for. or find Jesus? In the comments below, with this man and what he thinks, what he desires, what he craves, tell me what you think should happen to him, if anything at all. Do you believe that enough has been done, or do you believe more should be done? We have criminals in this country who are in prison because they're violent and aren't out because they're violent. Should this man be allowed out, or should he just go back there and stay there? Or should he go to a mental institution, high-risk, supermax kind, where he's always tied to a chair perhaps? Let's see if we can get those muscles truly atrophied. Anyway, please let me know in the comments below. So I hope everyone has a lovely Sunday, and thank you all for listening.
Oh, goddowns.
In your arse.
Imagine my shock